So today's video is more of a journey really about a head shop of a certain succulent. So I didn't realise how this video was going to go. I started it last September and it's now June, so it's taken quite some time, but there's kind of been a journey, like I say, throughout it of different things that have happened and just little tips and advice and maybe things that I've done wrong and then learnt from. But you'll see in the video what I mean. So hopefully this is of interest to you, and hopefully you've got a head shop or can do a head shop, and this can then be used for your collection. This is how I repot a head shop which has started to root. So this is my Asante sana, and as you can see it's got some beautiful roots and it's time to pot it. And as usual, I'm using a well draining gritty mix here. So this is a John Innes number 2, if that's how you pronounce it, mixed with some horticultural grit. This is really good soil, it doesn't hold too much moisture, and like I say, the grit just adds extra drainage to that pot. I'm just adding a little hole in the top there for the roots to kind of bury themselves in there without having to force their way in too much. So there we are. Asante sana is on top of some soil. It will need to root a lot before I water it, so yeah, do not water probably for about another month or so until the roots have grown right into the soil. If you water them too early, it can cause rotting and the plant just might not be ready for water at this stage. So there we go, all potted up in a nice new pot. It is update time. So in the last clip I think I mentioned don't water anything until the roots appear, which is probably a month. Well, it's now been 6 months because over winter they don't always root because they are dormant. Sometimes they do, it just depends on what kind of mood they're in, I think, throughout the winter. But this one, I say 6 months, and you can see some really pink fresh roots, so they're growing nicely into the soil there. It's strange because there's a lot that side, but this side there's hardly anything, so it has got some work to be done, and I still wouldn't water this at all. You can feel the leaves if you give them a sideways squish, which is my telltale sign if they need water. You've still got some firmness in the middle there, and I'm just worried that the roots are so fresh that they could be more susceptible to rotting. So I'm just going to leave this one for a bit longer, and just hopefully it can root a bit quicker. Now the spring is here and it's going to get lots of nice sunlight. I've actually kept it on top shelf in the greenhouse, so it's obviously enjoying that. What I might do though is just add a bit more soil so the roots are covered a bit more. I don't want them to dry out, I want them to stay in some soil. So just the smallest amount to kind of pop over those roots to keep them, like I say, in the soil rather than drying out in the air. Not too many that side. In fact, there's nothing that side. Yeah, and that will do for now. So the next clip, who knows what the time frame will be, but I will update you. It's now been another month since the last clip, and I've actually watered the plants. I watered it last week. I noticed that when I pull up, the roots are really well rooted in the soil. They've got really, obviously grown a lot. And doing really well. They've got in that soil and I can't pick it up anymore, which is amazing. Obviously I don't want to keep tugging it, but yeah, I've given it some water now because those roots deserve to have a little bit of water. It's quite thirsty if I squeeze it. It's really strange, this plant. It's quite hard to do that with, but yeah, the leaves are really squishy. That will encourage the roots to grow even quicker, and kind of give them something to aim for. So if you find that any of your head shops aren't rooting, you could always sit them over a pot of water. It's kind of like water propagation. It makes sure the stem isn't touching the water, but the roots will then grow quickly towards the water. I've done that with one of my, I think it was a Lowy I had for like 2 or 3 years, and it didn't root, and I tried that and it worked really well. So yeah, that's a good tip if you ever have a head shop that doesn't grow roots very quickly or doesn't grow them at all. It will kind of encourage them to grow quicker. So yeah, I've just watered this and I've added a top dressing, and really I'm now going to treat it like any other plant because it will root really quickly now that spring's here. The growing season is upon us, thankfully. So we can just have water quite frequently now, probably like once every 2 weeks, once a month kind of thing, depending on what it looks like really. I always kind of look at my plants and see if they need water rather than do them all at the same time. I look at them individually to see if they need any water, and just by the look of their leaves and how they feel, rather than watering the whole greenhouse at once. It just seems to work better, and I get a lot less rotting that way as well. So yeah, it's definitely something I've learned over the years, not to just water everything at once. They've all got different requirements, and you do need to treat them individually. So yeah, that is how I pot on a hedge hop, and it's obviously been successful. I'll just check to see if we've got any pups so we can see what the stem is up to. This is the stem. So as you can see, we've got one big pup up here, which is growing really nicely. This is so thirsty. I'm really bad at watering my stems and hedge hops at the minute. I need to do that a lot more regularly. They're so thirsty. So once I water that, that'll get even bigger. And then we've got one here, one tiny one on the stem there. I think there's something there which is teeny tiny. And then some of these leaves, or actually all of these leaves, have got nice pink roots, so they need some water as well to get them growing. But yeah, a successful hedge hop. At least I've got, you know, this one at the very minimum from doing the hedge hop, and obviously the head has now rerooted. So that's why I do them. I find them always successful, and worst case scenario, you'll just get one from it, but that means you then have two of your favourite plant instead of one. So yeah, highly recommended. It's the 29th of May today, and I've had a little bit of change of heart with some of my pots. So I'm really on a bit of a mission to upgrade to white pots. However, I have found these ones which are smaller, and they actually are going to fit my succulents a lot better. Something like this Asante, which you can see there's a lot of space around this pot. I'm actually going to put anything this size in here. So I've ordered hundreds of pots. Yeah, so I'm just moving them all over. So I thought I would just change this today with you, and we can actually have a look at the roots and see how it's getting on as well. So we don't want to waste anything. So I'm just going to tip out this top dressing. You can use that as top dressing another one. And then I'm running out of room on my potting table. I'm just going to move my pot of substrate over, and then we're just going to tip this out and see how the roots are getting on. So really well, they're growing really nicely. However, I can see in here we've got some mealies. So I have treated a lot of my plants for mealies with bug clear, and I sometimes just get the odd ones, but I haven't had this many for a while. You can see there's quite a few in here. There's one on the stem, excuse my nails, some on the roots. So it's a good job I've kind of unpotted this and had a look. You can see them all around here. Oh, you can see them all moving. I hate them, they make me itch. So yeah, unfortunately we've got mealies on here, which is really strange. I thought I'd kind of combated them all apart from a few leaf props, but yeah, they're living on here. So I'm going to give them a really good spray now with alcohol, and also the same for the soil that they've just been sitting in, because they could be living in there as well. So I'm just shaking off any remaining soil into there. You can see some mealies have just dropped off, so definitely going to treat the soil. I can even tip this spray out into here to make sure we've killed them all, and then I'm just going to spray everywhere on here. They die instantly as soon as the alcohol touches them. They die off. I've actually got a really good reel or a short that I've made showing the mealies and what happens when they are touched by the alcohol, so it's always worth having a look at that. I find it really interesting. So I'm literally going to soak it, and I'm going to leave it here to dry, and then I'm going to redo it in 3 days, and then just double check after those 3 days to make sure they are all dead, and then we'll repot it. So yeah, there's a unforeseen kind of issue with this plant, which is annoying, but mealies love any fresh growth. So leaf props, any head chops, any new roots, they just, I don't know, they love them. They find their way in. So yeah, it's really good to keep an eye on any new growth you're having. And also, if you think a plant isn't rooting or it's not growing, it's always worth just having a look in the soil to see if there's any mealies there, and also on the stem as well. So I've treated the plant again with the alcohol spray, and the mealies are no more. Obviously it's dried out a little bit because it's been outside without any soil or water. So I'm just going to repot it, but you can see there's lots of new roots growing here. All these white ones are all fresh, so it is rerooting really well since the head chop. So we have treated Asante, so there are no mealies now. We are mealy free. The roots are looking a little bit dry because obviously they've just been out in the elements and it's been really hot. But yeah, the main thing is all the bugs have gone, so it can continue to root. So I'm now going to put it on into a smaller pot. So I'm just going to go for a small pot like this because the roots are very small, and I don't want it to be kind of drowned in soil and moisture and things like that. So yeah, I think I'll just rather change to a smaller pot where it can grow into the pot quite quickly with its roots, because it has got quite a good root system already, considering it's yeah, only just started rooting. It kind of, once you get them in the soil and you give them a little bit of moisture, they really do start rooting quickly, especially in the growing season. It's now June, so this one has taken a while to root, but it's because I chopped it at the end of the growing season. I think it was September when I started this, so yeah, it's now June. So some of them do just take a really long time. Others, you know, can be weeks, but this one obviously has taken months. But like I say, it's really a lot to do with the season of when you do it as well. But there we go, that is a beautiful little Asante Sana. It's so lovely and pastel-y. It's got such a nice farina to it. It's beautiful. And I'll just show you the stem with the babies as well to show you the progress of those. And here we go. So this is the stem. We've got the biggest pup on the top. It's growing there. It's really good size actually already. That's compared to the head. So yeah, it's growing really quickly. I give it quite a lot of water at the minute because it is very hot. We've got some little babies growing on there. These leaves started to root really well, but it did dry out really quickly, so I might just be tempted to put them into a tray that I water like every day, every other day, with leaf props in, just so it's getting a lot more moisture, because that will really help the roots stop drying out and help them to grow. There's another couple of little ones here and here as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with their progress. Like I say, that hedge job was a bit of a journey, so thanks for sticking with me, and hopefully you've learned something along the way. So the reason the hedge job or the roots were so delayed originally is because I hedge chopped kind of mid-season, and the roots only started to appear at the end of the season, which was September. So through from probably October, November time until March, most of my plants go dormant because it is winter and it's quite cold for them. So sometimes they do continue to root, but this one just didn't do a lot really. So that's why the video kind of then picked up pace throughout the growing season. But I hope it's been of interest. I obviously did start off with a bigger pot, and I then realised that probably there was too much soil, too much mix in there for those roots. So that's why I then changed to a smaller pot, which I've done with a lot of my plants here actually. This is probably not a good bit to show you because these are my big ones, but over here, I'll just do a little clip. I've repotted all of my collection nearly. I think I've got about 5 to go. It's taken me months. But yeah, I've repotted them into these smaller white pots, which I absolutely love. I think they look great. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you enjoy my videos and my channel. I really do appreciate it, and it means so much to me. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.